Red Bull gives you wings.
Hello, and we are back.
Hello.
I was just utterly flabbergasted at what a crazy map number 1 it was. I had no words to describe what I saw. But we are back, everyone, to the Verizon Game Changer Series 2 North America 2023 Grand Finals, where, as I just mentioned, we had a very, very rough, but also very impressive on the flip side, map number 1 on Bind between version 1 and Complexity. Mimi, there's no way to sugarcoat things. This was a very, very one-sided affair, but it goes without being said. You know, sometimes that happens, and also this is a map that typically is the permaban from the side of Complexity.
Yeah, that does tend to happen in every Grand Final that version 1 plays. Interesting. They seem to have a habit of stomping other teams. It was a really impressive game out of them to start. I think the way that they play this Harbor Viper composition works really well for their team. In particular, I was super impressed with their retakes in the first half, showing us so many different looks. I think what makes V1 so good in part is that despite the fact that they're rolling a team over, they're still constantly making adaptations, finding new ways to win rounds, and making them really hard to call against. Even when COL was taking timeouts, trying to make adaptations that I think were solid, V1 was always a step ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah, their defense was just immaculate. Every time the Complexity were hitting a site, they were running into perfect crossfires and then just utility tsunami at the choke. Like, they're trying to work through mollies, nades, harbor walls, sage walls. They're getting stuck, and then as they're trying to slowly maneuver through that, again, it was just the perfect setups between the players. The swings from the V1 players, perfect. The crossfires, perfect. There's just nothing you can do. I mean, you can see it right now. They're walking into slows. There's a harbor wall at the choke. There's boom bots going on. It's like, what do you even do when you're trying to get out of this? Again, it's just, how do you get out of this situation? Yeah. It's impossible. The setups were just phenomenal for V1. And when it's, of course, the ban, like you mentioned, Mimi, they're just not going to have as effective an understanding as to how to deal with that kind of defensive play, which is understandable. It's not a knock. They don't play the map. Tons of teams have permabans. V1 get rid of Fracture constantly. That's the advantage of being through the upper final. They get to ban 2 maps, and COL had no say in the matter. Yeah,
it really is brutal to have to play a map pool that really doesn't work super well for you. But to further credit V1, I think what also made those executes where you saw Complexity just going into the meat grinder so hard was because the rounds before, V1 were just leaving sites open, letting them in, and then playing Flood retake. Some rounds it wasn't the Flood retake, it was instead these fast replanks, or it was heavy anchoring on site. You don't know when you want to invest your util and when you want to commit all that, because if you invest all your utils to the execute, then V1's just going to play Flood retake, and you're going to get ran over with not enough tools to stop it. Mel is such a difficult IGL to call against, and Complexity struggled. But the thing is, again, that was their permaban. That was the map that we didn't expect much out of Complexity, and there's still a BO5 to play.
Indeed, it wasn't just the fragging prowess that we saw, but as you mentioned, Mimi, it's also the ridiculous calls coming in from Mel, keeping things new every single round and keeping the enemy on their toes. And when it comes to the players that we saw from the side of V1, we saw almost every single one of them shine throughout various rounds. Before this map, we talked a lot about Noya, we talked a lot about Fluorescent, but Wyatt, another amazing player is Alexis. What a fantastic support player for the side of V1.
Yeah, in terms of supportive utility, I believe she is the best player in the Game Changer scene. She was doing an excellent job early on in the defensive half, actually anchoring the sites as well, getting a lot of important kills. But in terms of what she brings on the Sky, on the Breach, on other maps, to set up the star talent that they've surrounded themselves with this new V1 roster, it's just bar none. The flash timings are always just absolutely perfect. I think she's an underrated and essential part of what makes this team just unbelievable on every single map in this tournament.
And to segue us into the next map, which will be Haven, Alexis is going to continue to be so important for her team. They've been playing this Harbor Viper composition with that solo initiator. I think in the Harbor Viper meta, the hardest agent to play is maybe the Harbor, but I would say the Sky, where you have to be really working on when you're using utility, when you're investing it, because you are that sole initiator. You also have to be setting up your duelists to fight through so much utility, and playing against a team like COL that also runs a variant of the Viper compositions here on Haven. Alexis is going to continue to be so important for version 1 success. Now,
allow me, after that 13-2, to be the beacon of hope for complexity, everybody.
Needed this.
Okay? I'm going to deliver what the people need, which is the fact that on Haven in this tournament, complexity are 4-0. Yesterday, they got thrown that curveball from DSG, where DSG picked defense to start on, came out with a super defensive-sided comp to try and nullify how great complexity had been on that map, and they adapted on the fly and were able to get that win. I was really impressed with that from their side. Also, Lace has been excellent every single Haven game. 3 games in a row now. She's had a 1 or higher kills per round. The other day against DSG, dropping like 30 or something kills. Stellar performance every single time. So I'm looking to her to be the linchpin for COL's success and their ability to adapt, because again, so far in this tournament, teams aren't going up against what V1 are bringing to the table in terms of the compositions and how they play out. This is another comp that we started seeing to become really popular in the meta as the Americas scene went on. It was something that the Brazilian teams were really favoring. So again, I'm looking to COL to be as adaptable as they were yesterday, and that's going to be on Jazzy.
It is going to be on her as that IGL. She'll be locking Jet for this game, so getting a bit of that duelist IGLing action into play. But who I'm really looking at, and who we always have to look towards on Jet maps, is Fluorescent. She's consistently incredible on this agent, and Haven is a map where I think V1, particularly on their defensive sides, are really good at keeping her proactive, at changing where she's set up, and having her and Alexis play in combination, sometimes pushing off a harbor wall or something of those legs, really makes it a nightmare to call on the attacking side. But COL start on the defense, and the Viper comp is really strong here. I was impressed with how good their retakes were versus DSG in that game you were mentioning. This is a strong map for them, and if there was a chance to rally back in the series, I think it would be here, Wyatt.
I totally agree. Haven and the following map, Pearl, these might be the best opportunities for complexity to actually take some map wins here. If they fall on Haven, the rest of this series, the chance of a full 3-map comeback is going to be absolutely dire. This is a crucial moment for them to get a win, to get the massive upset against V1.
Well, version 1 currently sits in this grand finals up 1 map, 1-0. Can complexity tie it up to be 1-1 in this best of 5, or will version 1 be starting to take things away as they have done in the past? Let's head over to our casters, Doug and Sean.
Thank you so much, Sue. Yeah, version 1 just gave a lot of the fans at home something to cheer about. There's actually a watch party happening in Minnesota right now, so shout out to all you guys who are enjoying the show. Plenty of reason to cheer, but as Wyatt was saying on the desk, 4-0 for complexity on Haven. It hopefully will be a little bit of a different story, Sean.
Hopefully so. I mean, I think this is a map they're much more comfortable in. Like Wyatt said, they've won 4 straight on the map. And even though we saw V1 absolutely obliterate DSG, I think the comp diff between DSG and complexity will provide a lot more difficulties for V1. The Sky is able to find a lot more information behind the double walls with the Harbor Viper. And you can see off the bat here, we have V1 on this attacking half. They have the Viper wall blocking info at A. The Harbor's lurking around mid. I'm guessing a Cascade's gonna be used to deny some info here. Let's see where Milk throws that Cascade. And a triple challenge on C long here.
This is going to be so messy to keep up with. You rarely see 2 Vipers on Haven, but then you wrinkle in the additional wall from Harbor, and there's going to be a lot of denial of vision. We'll see how things play out. You see this early fight taking place down too long. A couple of bullets traded. No kills found.
Toxins going up.
Now it looks like V1 is going to try to group a little bit towards this mid window. Flash goes out mid. The turret was broken early round, so they want to make sure no one's down. Push B. That's what they do right there. The Cascade is used to block some info by A, and the Trailblazer is used for false info towards short. You can see it's pushed Raze off the line. They're going to C-pop, though.
Yeah, and Claudia should have seen a lot of that. And then the utility that she's dancing around should help, and that's why you see Complexity already sending Kara, already sending Jazz. He gets over. Oh, dude. No, another floor highlight.
Oh, my God.
Unreal. And off of that smooth little 2K that was as fast as lightning, they have full site control. That Paranoia is going to be very good, though. Out from Lace, but Floor still up top, still causing problems. But Raze has gotten it back.
Oh, 2-on-2.
But she has 1 HP. It's all going to be on Lace and Alexis. Can Alexis pull it off? The spike is planted. Onus is on Lace. 19 HP. The smoke is good. Alexis boldly peeking ahead of it, and the 1v1 goes in favor of version 1.
Lace thought she had the read. She thought Alexis would back out, go up garage window and flank. Unfortunately, Alexis just one step ahead, but man, just back-to-back one-shots. What? I mean, we were talking between the maps. Like, I think Clarissa is just obviously an incredible duelist, but she can play Jet at like an S tier level, Raze at an S tier level, and Neon at an S tier level. And there's not many duelists that can do that in North America. There's just not.
No, it's definitely a...
Look how impressive this is, though, Doug. I mean, the Cascade, long A. You have the Molly from both Viper and Killjoy to block the short push. But all of this is a ruse. They're going back to C. I love the Sky Flash from Kara. Lets them know no one's A long, and they're rotating.
Yeah, Claudia's in a really good spot, but at best, I mean, at absolute best, Sean, we're talking about a one and done, and they can't even connect on that. Mel took some damage, but they've lost the site again. And you see how oppressive that harbor wall is? Look at it on the minimap right now. They have to invest utility to get just out onto the site because of how deep that wall is.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, and you can see they even have the Poison Orb on the spike. They're playing Mollies from, long C. This is going to be a disaster to retake this site throughout this half.
But for version 1 fans, again, what seems like a treat to get to watch them execute at such a high level. That flash is a little bit too deep. You're not expecting Noya in it. Lace has somehow found 2 gifted free through the smoke. The flick from Noya's clean as she gets the second. Man.
Noya is so slept on. we always talk about Floor, and truly, Noya is just the one in like the mid to late rounds, just putting up incredible numbers as well. She is right there with Floor statistically. Number 2 in KD throughout this event, behind Floor. She has a 1.87 KD ratio throughout this event. Just ridiculous numbers for a Sentinel player.
It sure is tough, I'm sure, to have statistically the 2 best players in the tournament on the same team.
Yeah, and again, we have the Cascade towards long block and info. The Sky Flash gives info that no one's there. You can see Kara's flashed back, and they know V1 is not at long A. The spot from mid from Jazzy, but I don't think they can get to B quick enough to help Jazzy.
Yeah.
Oh, she may not need it. After that opener onto Alexis, you see the smoke came through at just the right time from Lace. They've lost the site, but they've dealt some damage.
And taking out the single initiator on both of these comps is massive. No flashes in this mid round now. You see, Jazz is gonna go for half right away.
And she manages to do so with a Molly at her lap. She gets what she wants, she gets out. The close flash, but you checked the wrong side. Fortunately, Claudia was there to clean things up. Mel with 2 good ones. The Bulldog cleaning up some of the complexity had left, but I mean, there's still so much complexity you have to do. It's just a tap, and it's a threat for a fight. Mel has gotten 3, and she's going to have to get all 5 on her own. The swing out is just too much as Lace cleans her up. Fortunately, they've gotten it to half, and complexity are going to get around.
So important that Jazzy got that happen. So much experience coming in to do that. It's a very difficult decision, right? You have to get half on that defuse, though, while V1 is transitioning out of the site, while they're rotating, before they get their mollies all set up. You need to get that in as quick as possible against the Killjoy Viper.
And it was just too much, man.
And again, we can see, this round there's going to be a change of pace from V1. No longer are they doing the A default. This is going to be a fast garage split most likely, where the harbor wall can start from outside a garage, block garage window, and cut through backseat sight. It is an insanely strong wall.
And then, I mean, depending on how far up she gets to, if she can invest the Reckoning from further up than you would expect, it's going to be difficult. The one thing is Lace has managed to go through this undetected. Raze has been spotted, and you know she's done. That paranoia is going to be a problem, though. Floor is still somehow dancing around the site. Lace stays alive! But Floor with another 3K.
No way.
The transfer's good, the site is theirs, and the round likely is too.
The C site is hers. It's hers. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. She played off of the harbor ult so perfectly. She saw she saw Raze close, and she ignored that lightning bolt to actually first make sure there's no plat. And she's gonna close out.
Which she was right. There was someone back there. Well done by Claudia to get two, took a couple weapons out of the hands of version 1, but and she was right. She was right that there was someone plat, but the transfer out from Floor again. There's the first, and then you see the second, third, just like that. So effortless out of the store for version 1.
She just makes it look so easy. And Cole, I mean, that was a rough round to lose right out of the bonus. They're broken already. Now, they have these ults to work with, but what good are they? That's all they have is a Guardian on Lace. And even though she's played so well on Haven, it's asking a lot against this Harbor Viper. Already, the Cascade is coming towards long. Jazzy taking a risk, though, stepping right in front of it.
They're going to get a lot of space towards A. The alarm bot's going to keep them back for now. Do they recall the alarm bot? I think they recall the alarm bot, Sean.
Great timing here on Alexis.
Oh, the flash is too deep. You were right. Caught him sleeping. Just a momentary lapse in attention. And that's all it took.
And they're shuffling them. They're throwing the weapons out of the map. Just literally getting every single edge.
Placing alarm bot. Recalling my bot.
And they're just going to min-max their way through the rest of this. Lace still has the Guardian, and she is close by. Currently playing in garage. It's going to have to push past that wall.
This Viper wall is... Oh my god. What? I was just going to mention this Viper wall allows them to flood out of spawn quite easily. But it doesn't really work when the Viper just gets one shot through the smoke. Oh, wow.
Kari here looking to die to the spike.
Yeah.
You know, maybe... Yeah, we'll see what she decides to do. Maybe you take the fight because you know you're 2 points off of having the Seekers. If you get one, do you die? You have the ult, or you just die and you're one step closer. But a difficult spot there for the Sky, for the Initiator.
Yeah, I think we might see an AWP come into Jazzy's hands here for the first time in this game. Yeah, there it is. And that is going to look to be what maybe changes how this game flows. I think she's going to step in front of this long A Cascade, Doug. I'm really, really worried she's going to get caught by Alexis's flash.
Remember, she disrespected it in the previous round.
I think, she's going to push short, and she's going to have to go through the Viper molly and the Killjoy molly. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think V1 is very aware of this.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday. Or we saw this exact same thing yesterday. She still has a shot!
And the heal's there.
Oh my goodness. That was if I go down, you're coming down with me.
That's the hero play they needed.
Yeah. Can you connect on a second, though? Blade's online. This is going to have to be a Jazzy round from beginning to end. And the flash in her face, she tries to get high ground, tries to stay alive, while the rest of the side is lost.
Get out of my way.
What more can she do?
Still up a player, and I don't know how they deal with this lockdown.
No way.
What?
No way!
What?
The pathing from floor and the height is too much.
I've got your trail.
That was so sick.
She's gonna get detained too, but
There's a half coming in from Jazzy.
they're just not interested. She's gotten it that far, and now she can reaggress. She can take the space once more. Still has blades. She doesn't even need a flash. She's just gotta fight through this on her own. Lace from up top, a 1v3. One of them's weak.
This seems impossible. V1 is giving her no bites.
Yep. It's disciplined. It's clean up from version 1. And when you get to that point in the round, Sean, where you need a mistake from the opposition in order to just get to equal ground, against version 1, they just don't offer you that luxury.
Yeah, at the one time they're in a, a player up scenario, Floor just takes it away with such an incredible thought to up-trapped over and catch that Killjoy, or a rotator coming through the B side, someone that has to hold the flank, guard the lockdown. And she's so quick on her feet thinking that way. We pointed out last night we were watching the Pearl game, remember? It's insane to see. Again, they push off this A site with the Cascade, the Sky Flash, and this is a little bit of a different pace now.
They've already drawn out a smoke from Lace, and the rotations are coming through. She has a Marshall.
You can see the spacing at long is perfect. A player playing anti-flash. They're ready to high tide this site and flood in. Flora's gonna dash into her cloud burst most likely.
Uh-oh. Was that spotted?
Oh.
I thought the dog may have seen it. Maybe the comms didn't come through, or Flora just decided she didn't care about it. Fortunately, version 1 have plenty more artillery where that came from.
Welcome to my world.
Spike planted.
Hey, this is securing a round if I've ever seen it. You see, for Complexity, they don't have very much as far as guns. You've also got the pit down from Sarah, aggressively going in towards Link.
There's just no openings. I mean, what do you want them to do? Jump out of heaven with this Marshall? This is just...
Sleep tight.
V1 they don't give an inch.
No. Not at all. The dominance just really doesn't stop. And not from that distance. A little bit too much. The attacking side of version 1 so far has caused fits for Complexity as they're up 5.
And this is such a pivotal round for Complexity. I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout at this point, just because they have these ults in play. It's the first time they'll probably have a full gun with some ults other than Jazzy's Bladestorm, and they absolutely need to convert this round. They're going against Noya's lockdown, so it's not going to be an easy round. And yeah, there's the timeout coming in from Complexity. Doesn't shock me at all. How are they going to use these ults here to secure this round? And more importantly, they need to get it cleanly, so that way their economy can start to build here.
The problem, though, Sean, is and you kind of wonder what Joe is saying to Complexity right now, because version 1 have shown depth as far as pace, right? They've changed their defaults a couple times at the beginning of rounds. They've shown that they can do it quickly, they can do it slow and methodically, they can kill you by 1,000 cuts. Like, it is difficult from a defensive perspective to plan around that. And yeah, you've got the pit, yeah, you've got Seekers, but it feels like it requires a bit more. Maybe it's the op in the hands of Jazzy in combination with everything else that we've just discussed that could prove to be the difference maker, but we'll see.
And we have the same Viper wall coming in, right? So the A players will have a difficult time getting info behind this. You know, they're going to play back in the side. Lace already TPing on top of that short box. Jazzy's going to go for this pick out of garage, and there's going to be a fight there. I think this is actually a legitimate chance, Doug, for them to get an advantage in this round.
There are what, 3, 4 on the other side of this wall. They've got the turret. Jazzykins doesn't have the dash proc, but doesn't matter. She just takes the fight.
Crazy, and she keeps the dash going here. Look at this pit. This is wild how deep that pit goes into C long. By the time anyone comes up C, they're definitely gonna be at 1 HP.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like the repositioning out from Jazzykins too. Giving up the space where she got the kill. They've dropped the alarm bot, which has now been cleared, of course. But if they try to go back into B, they're gonna have to deal with this op again.
Yeah, but what they did was made someone have to hold the Vipers back. They know they forced 2 people over towards the C site. Now they're going over towards B. They hear the turret. So they're going to break this turret. And once they break the turret, they know that the rotate has to come to B. And then they pop on C. They're doing a lot to the rotations right now in Complexity.
Dude, they've invested the Seekers. They dogged all the way up to latch on arrays, but you still have to get through all of that, but they somehow do it. I mean, they just, again, fully disrespect that pit that you were talking about and take C anyway.
They obliterated Complexity this round, rotationally speaking. I mean, this was so different from the rest of the game V1 has played. Such a well-called round by Mel to even make this happen. And now they're playing post from Long C with an orb and Molly. Double flank coming through garage right now.
But maybe. It's just a tap, it's just a thread, and that maybe very quickly turns into a no. She just has to save the weapon. There's not much else she can do here.
This was just a masterclass on rotational abuse on Haven. This is crazy. They recognize the alarm bot in garage, they break it, so then they know someone has to now be holding Viper's flank. She can't feel comfortable. She now has to hold her pit side from C, and she has to be aware of the garage lurk and the window lurks. And then after that, they break the turret on B. So now they know their force rotates out of A towards B. And at that point, they're popping on C. And, you know, it is just a coin flip for Raze. She has so many things to watch at that moment and no one to help her.
Turret out.
So they go back to this A. It's just fake pressure, though. They're throwing all of the same tools, but they're not here.
We saw this a couple of rounds ago too, where on the pistol they just disrespected it, right? Like Jazzy walked past the cascade, no real concern of what was on the other side, or perhaps confidence with what was behind her. But they weren't really able to capitalize and take the space that they had. So you're right. Meanwhile, the hit's happening on C. Lace stuck it, but there's a Molly in her lap.
So they hear the Omen ult all the way to C plat. They know now the rotate's here. They back off. They cancel the strat. Such a great read again from V1. And how does Complexity respond? You can see Jazzy's pushing aggressively over by Short A. She's unsure, though, if there's people lurking here. She has no info.
Yeah.
And Mel is blocking info with a cascade, putting more pressure on this A site.
They just got a smoke out from Lace 2 towards A.
I think Mel's about to fake A with a high tide.
Yeah, but I mean, if she does, it's likely not going to bite here. They've already found Noya. They've already gotten a kill on C.
30 seconds left.
I mean, at best, she dies on the other side, but they're going to lose the sight. Not only did they lose the sight, they lost the cover on the flank. It's a flawless round as version 1 get to 8.
Only Fluorescent just barely tapped even that round. Not even a flawless round. That was a near perfect round from version 1. Incredible. They just show me more and more ways that they can win a round as this game goes on.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking of that because you go back to the pit round and they disrespected the pit, right? They just brazenly said, we're going to take what we want. You think about that round, they flip the map, they throw the brakes on it, they decide that they're going to respond to what they're seeing. So once again, just highlighting the depth with which version 1 can play the game.
Again, same cascade over towards Long A. The Sky Flash from Card gets some info bottom B, but I don't think there's anything that's going to stop this garage hit or B hit from happening. They could go either way. They feel presence maybe in garage, so you can see Noya puts an alarm bot down. Now they're going to prod into B a little bit. There is a crossfire here and a well-timed smoke actually from Lace, and this is due to Jazzy's aggression C long.
Karak has to be careful not to get caught with utility out as Fluorescent takes another life. Now Blade's out. She's flashed. She's done.
Oh my.
Toxin screen down.
What on earth do you do from here? Jazzykins is on the flank, and I mean, maybe she can make a play. 2 beneath her. 1 unsuspecting Patience as the second drops the third. Ooh, that would have been filthy. Has to dash away, stay alive. The Cloudburst provides some cover as Claudia swings at just the right time. But there's Alexis with the flash, with the swing, and the kill. What else can they do? I mean, Lace has gotten it here, though. Can Noya clean this up? They're going to double face her. Noya can just buy time!
10 HP, though.
Can she do it? Claudia's with the spam. I don't know if she's going to have time, though, Sean. I don't think she will.
Imagine if I died.
Oh, she will.
Right now.
It's going to be so close.
I think she's got it. It's very, very close, though.
I mean, less than a second. If she gets it, no, it's not enough. The Red Bull clutch for version 1. And off of the heroics from Claudia, she comes just a bit short.
Oh. Jazzy, that C-Long flank came in so big this round, but Noya, just this reposition to hide in that corner.
Yeah.
Make Claudia take that extra step. I mean, she didn't even have intentions on taking that fight. It's just a time bleed. Oh, brutal. And now we're looking at a 9-1 scoreline, Doug, where this A default is coming into play. Only a Killjoy's here. A lockdown's on Noya if they want to use it, if they want to invest it here on short A. And look at the buy from Complexity.
It's not great. What's crazy too is how many times have we seen Complexity try to disrespect this utility A main? Now that Complexity flipped the map and spend most of their resources C, that's when version 1 hits the site. It's just crazy the read they have on things.
They sense the flood. I think Mel's going to use this Reckoning.
Hey, it's going to cause serious havoc, and there it is. Jazzykins tries to get out, and it's just dead on arrival. Never finds a space. They never find a kill. Another flawless for version 1.
Another near perfect round. You look, I mean, they lost like 5 HP that round. It was. I mean, the rounds are just perfectly played from V1. They're doing nothing wrong. You know, they're playing absolutely perfect fundamental Valorant. They're using their ult spaced out throughout these rounds. Their entries are always having impact in Fluorescent. It's just flawless.
I'm speechless too, my brother. It just doesn't feel like there's anything Complexity can do, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news for the Complexity faithful, but this is the map that you needed to convert something on if you wanted to have a run at the series. And when your best player is getting dropped like that at the opening of the round,
that's another new way for them to open up the round, though. The orb on C long, and they just have an attack op because we're in the last round and they have max money. And if you look, that op doesn't even exist anymore. Like that was only for that fight. It's just, it's bullying at this point. No.
It's gotta be, they have so many luxuries, and mind you, these are luxuries that they have because of how they've performed the entire half, right? The fact that you can set up a play just to get the op kill and then drop it and still have plenty of money to go around is just a testament to how dominant of a half that it's been. What?
Oh.
Sarah fortunately cleans up 2 there as Floor really went ballistic for just a moment.
I've got your trail.
Last round, might as well use those Seekers. 2 flashes still in Alexis in this front side position. Oh, it's going to be difficult entering, the area nearer. The second she feels your presence, she's going to flash.
Hey, Jazzykins has gone on top. She has an op. And she's flashed. Ooh. Alexis falls first. 3v2. And Jazzykins is just going to have to be the sentinel that's essentially like watching over the site and daring for anyone to challenge. And you know it's coming. She's front-facing it. The spam is just going to be too much. Once again, every single facet of the round considered. Sarah gets 4, version 1 get 11, and the dominance just continues.
Switching sides.
And version 1, they're only allowed 1 round. Number 1 team. I mean, the 1 could mean a lot of things right now. This team looks unstoppable. Like, mechanically, strategically, in the mid round, in the post plan. Every area of their game across all of the maps. Not even 1, not 2, not 3. They have 0 holes in their game right now. Complexity is in a terrifying spot right now in this series.
20-7 from your Jet. And I mean, honestly, we can talk about the stats, but as you were saying, Sean, it really is. I mean, it's everyone. It's everything for version 1 that's just clicking in ways that you reach a point where you see the dominance and you go, oh, okay, they can't get any better. And then they add another wrinkle, right? There's more depth to what they do.
Look at this setup. They have a triple crossfire on this B site. The second the alarm bot's broken, the wall goes up, but the dog is perfect.
Did it spot both though? That flash is gonna help.
Yeah, that makes them roll immediately into garage. Good little adjustment here coming out of Complexity, but the rotate is gonna be all over this C site. There's 4 players here.
They've gotten past the harbor wall already. Well done by Complexity to get the defenses down. They're gonna try to flood out, but Kara with 3. Sarah's gonna have to do it on her own, and she cannot. Complexity gets the pistol.
We get a pick, we move in.
Some life comes out of Complexity. I mean, they clearly needed this round if they want this comeback to happen. No mistakes can be had for quite a bit of this half, if I'm being honest. They need to go on a serious run. They might even... The bonus might be essential. I don't think they can lose the bonus even.
Yeah. Not at this point. Not with the lead that version 1 has amassed.
Similar looks here coming out of the teams. You know, the Viper Molly is going to go into short. Omen smoke over towards long A instead of a cascade.
Well, it's interesting to have Sarah and Mel facing B main at the opening of the round. I wonder if there's a setup for something there a little bit later. This is just a pistol round for version 1. Starting to feel things out, perhaps thinking about what's next. You see the paranoia and the dash out from Jazzykins. Alexis should be dead as, yeah, Raze overwhelms her too. You see there really is not much that the pistols from version 1 can fight back with. Sarah has upgraded to a Guardian though, and that finds some value, but Noya's 1v3 with a classic doesn't get much further than that.
Important spike plant right there for Carl. One off of ult here. The Seekers.
Nice. Yep.
The Seekers are massive on Haven. A 3-site map. You can follow the path of the least Seekers if you pop them in a certain spot, and honestly, it'll give you free plants, which with a Viper comp is just straight money. This is a doable round here for Complexity, but obviously, you know, V1 has things up their sleeve. It's not just like they're gonna give it to them. So let's see what's happening. They have a double challenge on C long, and without a doubt, Sarah heard that TP. She feels this default, knows the Sky's here, knows the Omen's here. The Seekers are gone.
Ooh! Clean flick out from Lace and almost lands on the second. Jazzykins was there to clean it up. They're the Seekers that you mentioned. Gonna get a lot of space and a lot of info.
Massive first blood from Lace. She's been the star player of this team, especially on Haven. Wyatt mentioned it on the desk. They're going to need a serious star performance out of her this half.
And if she can continue to heat up and Jazzykins can do a bit of the same, I mean, I fully understand we're selling you good people at home outrageous amounts of copium. And for that, we're partially sorry. But also, there is a sliver where if those two can get going, if they can get hot, there's a shot at it. You mentioned, Sean, a couple of rounds ago that it felt like the bonus was imperative for even the possibility of a comeback to be considered. They got it.
They did. And historically, the attack half for them has been their significantly stronger half, right? Putting up 11 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds. Against the Skies, it was their weakest half with 5. But, I mean, this is a comp that can really rack up rounds on the attack half, just like how V1 did. The problem, Doug, is the deficit they're at right now. You know, 0 mistakes. They have no wiggle room here. Ooh, terrifying push here through A long. We saw Complexity actually do this and have a little bit of success on their eco.
As soon as that wall goes down, it's going to be a gunfight. The problem is the gunfight is outnumbered for Raze. Is there 3 on the other side? None of them found. I mean, if they can upgrade that weapon too, they've got a shot at this. Surely the Vandal goes into the hands of Floor, which it does. This Complexity have taken B. And Noya's got to be careful. She's being surrounded. She's being wrapped around. Somehow connects onto the spike.
Down, C.
Okay, they're in a 3-on-4 post. You can see the V1 players all so far away, all coming through spawn. But the problem here is that the Viper is down in the post. They only have these Killjoy mollies to rely on.
And the first one has already been launched. You imagine the second one's going to follow suit shortly thereafter.
And this is that retake wall I was talking about first half.
Yeah.
You see, they get all out behind the site, slowly making their way up. Cascade to block vision.
They've got the pit too, and Lace. Mel's gonna secure half. Dude, she's gonna secure the whole thing. Forget about just getting it to half. Jazzykins is too late. She's gonna fall, and she gets a couple of kills. It's a thrifty round for version 1 to get him to map point.
Match point.
I'll take things you hate to see for 1,000, Doug. No, painful. Why is the Harbor sticking so many spikes in this series?
Anyone have funds to
Complexity. They're gonna have nightmares about this Harbor diffuses coming in.
Dude.
Like this.
And Jazzykins had the pathing. She had the flank, but it was just too late. We'll see what they can do here. Floor with the op in hand, blades for Jazzykins, and a Hail Mary desperately needed.
And they're going right into this Viper. Is Sarah gonna ult? Yes.
Blinded.
Right off the bat.
Whoa.
Oh, we talked about the pit down too long in the previous half. Look at this one.
Yeah. I mean, Race is challenging it right now, but her HP is quickly plummeting.
And you haven't even gotten that far. The Seekers are going to confirm there's one there too. Jazzykin's Blade's not connecting. Mel does though. As they're all but done. They're going to flip the map. And the problem is, look at where Noya is right now down too long. She's in Cubby. You don't comfortably get very much.
And she can hear so much so quickly. In addition to having the double nanos, the turret, the alarm bot in garage, she has so much map control for one player.
Complexity don't have their go button. They don't have Jazzy with the dash.
Wave crashing.
Not a ton to break crosshair or anything like that. So they have to think this one through very carefully. Consider every possibility.
This is going to be very difficult. If they commit through garage, they're going into
30 seconds left.
an insanely difficult crossfire.
And then again, remember, even without the crossfire, you've got Noya, who's in such a good spot, but she's dropped. Alexis is going to have to do it. The switch to the classic, and it's Mel who cleans it up. 13-4, another dominant stop by version 1.
Oh, what can they not do? This had to be what felt like Complexity's best chance in this series.
Yeah.
Their Haven, they won 4 straight. This Viper Omen comp has, done magic for them. It's by far Lace's best map individually, who's been their star performer. And now they're going into Pearl, where V1 just looks unbeatable. They've won like 10 straight games.
And that's so brutal to say because Complexity have been good on Pearl, right? I think it was Mimi who was saying it on the desk. Like, their Haven has been good. Their Pearl has been good too. Like, they've got to find traction on these. And their Haven was better statistically, right? Historically, that was where they desperately needed to make something happen, and they could just not. So it does feel a little doom and gloom for Complexity heading into Pearl, but that's why we play the game, folks, to see how things turn out. We're going to throw it to a break. We'll see you guys on the other side.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal VALORANT training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.